The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. That was just a random dog walking down the road. Okay, that sounds good. Welcome to Texas. Anyway, here comes a mail. Of course, as we've seen, there's a lot of shipping delays. There's a lot of logistical problems. We have supply chain issues. You know, we've seen those things on the news. You saw the ship that got turned sideways during the canal, and that screwed everything up. And you've got problems in China, and you've got COVID lockdowns, and all the rest. You have plenty of problems. But all that said, it does seem unusual that, you know, by and large, you can still order quite a bit on Amazon and get it same day delivery. There are certainly supply chain issues, but there's things that do not seem to be affected. And in comics, it seems particularly confusing because you have a system of content that is seems to be coming out just fine, and then you have 2 month, 3 months delays that they blame on shipping and supply chain. But how could that possibly be true? And when it's some of the stronger selling books, why is it that, you know, a weaker selling book, it's like, hey, Silk gets to the shelves no problem, but this high selling X-Men book is delayed 4 weeks for printing supply chain issues. That doesn't seem quite right. And the volumes that you're pushing, they're not they're not substantially different. I mean, yeah, there's a difference between selling 12,000 copies of a book and selling 50,000 copies of the book, but for a printer, that's still not a massive difference. It's not like 50,000 copies of a book versus 800,000 copies of a book. But anyway, here's the question. Hey, Perch, are shipping delays avoidable? Early last year, I started getting my comics from a comic store, and I found that it isn't commonplace for something to not arrive on time. At my comic shop, I have found that this is often a monthly occurrence. After watching my comic shop not receive comics from DC on Free Comic Book Day, then I learned that another comic shop, same distance from my house, had. I couldn't help but be curious. Why are shipping delays so commonplace? In comics, because it's not the best and the brightest doing this job. That's why. You have, in terms of a lot of the kind of the Diamond delays, or the Penguin Random House delays, or the Loon Artist delays, or whatever it happens to be. There are a number of people in this supply chain that screw up on a regular basis. Having run a comic store for decades, you would at times just not get a box. Where did your box go? I don't know. Then you'd start on the choose your own adventure of, well, did UPS screw it up? Did somebody at Diamond screw it up? Did and you would find yourself asking these questions like, hey, when I was with Capital City, this didn't happen. They seem to always get my comic books to me on time. So why is it that Diamond? What's going on? I was forced to switch over to Diamond, and suddenly I'm getting random boxes dropped. Sometimes I'm getting random boxes actually literally dropped, meaning they come in and the corner of it is completely obliterated. And this is where both, like, UPS is like, it was like that when we got it, and Diamond is going, wow, no, clearly the mail handler screwed this up. And of the investigations I did, I would say that 90% of the time it was Diamond, not the mail carriers. But be that as it may, there's comics that go missing in the box. They don't pack it correctly. In many cases, the packing is not this. Have you ever? I think there's a show on Netflix that shows you robotics, and it shows how robots are picking things and putting them in, and it's like a super automated, really impressive operation. Have you ever seen that? That is not even close to what's going on in comics. Not at all. It's hand done. It is not a highly tuned operation. And I mean, so in general, though, that this is your problem. You've got a lot of humans in the mix that suck at their job. And on top of that, you have the people who are editors, people who are in the publishing business, in the arms of the publisher, who also suck at their job, who wait to get notes in to the last possible second, who let comics go out delayed because they can't keep track of things. Or you have editors who, and I'm sorry, I keep harping on this, but the idiot won't stop writing on Twitter about how, man, they really hate having to open email, or My God, I'm thinking of deleting Twitter from my work account. Thanks, Chris Conroy. I hope you do delete Twitter from your fucking work computer. Yeah, I hope you do, because it'd be nice if you paid attention to your job once in a while. That's the kind of stuff that all of this added together blows up the supply chain. All this together is why you get delays. It's why one comic shop gets a comic and the other shop does not, or one comic shop gets a comic, but the other comics that they get are destroyed. They come into the box and they're just folded sideways and everything's all screwed up. That's why. Because you've got a number of people in this mix who, quite frankly, you wonder how they are able to just basically function during the day. You ever met, I had a person that I knew, not a friend, but a person I knew who would regularly, not every now and then, but consistently, regularly, have to take their car into the shop because it ran out of oil. Meaning they drove it to the point that the little warning light came on, and then they're like, your car can't tell me what to do. And then they just kept driving it, and eventually it burned out. And this didn't happen one time. This happened multiple times. And what always drove me crazy about this is that people would go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh man, I'm so sorry you got stuck on the road, Mister. That was man, that's a tough way to start the week. You didn't make it into to the office for 2 hours because your car broke down. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. Man, can I get you some coffee? I'll bet you could use some coffee." I'm like, don't give that person coffee. They're too stupid to take care of their car. It's the people who run out of gas. And I'm sorry if this is hitting some of you in the feels because you've run out of gas, but deep down, and unless you had a hole in your tank, unless you had some mechanical thing going on in your car, in which case you have my utmost sympathy, absolutely. But if you're the kind of person who's driving their car around and you look down, it's like that little needle is way into the red, past the empty line. But I'm sure I'm fine. I can keep going. Let's just get onto this bridge. It at least once a week, some dumbass would get stranded on the 520 bridge in Seattle, which is this floating bridge. It's narrow. It's all the rest, and it would jack up traffic for hours because of this. And the reason was they forgot to fill up their car. That it literally ran out of gas. And that is the literally correct use of the word literally. It ran out of gas on the road. And again, you look at that and you're like, somebody needs to give this person a sharp kick in the ass. Well, that is fundamentally what's going on with comics. When you see these supply chain issues, when you see that the comics do not arrive, it is, again, there are mistakes every now and then. There are innocent actual mistakes. Just like every now and then, the car sensor equipment doesn't work and you don't know that you've run out of gas. Yes, it can happen, but we're talking 2% of the time. 98% of the time, when a comic doesn't get to a comic store, when there's some kind of shipping delay, so there's some issue, it's because somewhere in the mix, somebody, some human being fucked up. That's why. Be it the person handling the mail, be it the person packing the box, be it the person who's trying to orchestrate getting the comic book done. It is tough. The only kind of bright side to all this is that we all should be absolutely thrilled, thankful, and excited that these people are not in the medical industry doing surgery on us. Because imagine if the mentality of the Diamond Shipper or Marvel or DC Comics editor, imagine if that intelligence and that mentality was the person who was, I don't know, operating on your lungs or trying to save your life during a cardiac arrest, or hell, even just your dentist. Would you want Chris Conroy, extracting your wisdom teeth? Fuck no, you would not. So in many ways, we can thank the comic industry for taking a lot of these people out of what is a more critical path of useful jobs in society. Oh, I'm sorry. Was this too harsh? Well, it's been a crappy day. You know why? Because I'm stuck in a traffic jam because some idiot, most likely, forgot to fill up their car. Thanks for listening.